we are on to session 3, so our next character one-shot, to which we have Jaylyn. She will be joining us as a woman of Bree. I am so sorry if the audio is terrible. We ran into quite a few issues with my mic before this, so I'm going to talk you through some nice Apple headphones. Hopefully that's okay. Hopefully I'm loud enough. Let me know if I am loud enough, and yeah, I mean, I can see that I maybe need to put my mic up a little bit higher here. 1 second. I don't know if I'm catching. Hold on 1 second, guys. How about now? Oh, there we go. Hi, you guys probably hear me now. Awesome. So, yeah, I know it's a bit quiet. Is it better now, Forge? Way better. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we had some mic issues before starting everything. So bear with me. Hopefully, it's things are figured out and things are better. But welcome to session 3 of Adventures in Middle Earth. We've already gone through our first 2 one-shots, to which we had Valinith first. He was our very first high elf of Rivendell. And so 2 weeks ago we had him. Theodric the Grimborn was last week a writer of Rohan, and now we are joined by, again, a woman of Bree. We have a Jaylyn. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and your character?
Yeah, hello everybody, and those friends I may have invited. Brothers, sisters, all you lovely chat people. I go by many names throughout the internet. On Twitch, I am known as SpiderFan33, but for the purpose of this, you may call me Leah. I am playing Jaylyn. She's a bit of an interesting character. I'm looking forward to getting to know her a bit more, finding out a bit more about where she came from.
Well, and honestly, kind of a really important thing about these character one-shots is simply the fact that, we're all learning these characters as, like, both Leah and myself, as we're jumping into kind of some backstory, kind of her origins. But yeah, it'll be good. Do you have any questions before we begin? Before we just jump right into it?
Let's just jump right in.
Let's
do it.
Let's be timely about this session.
It's gonna be here. Yeah.
Yes. So you have to excuse me. How do you pronounce your family's last name? Is it Grinfold? Grinfold?
I would say Grinfold. Yeah.
Grinfold. Okay.
You meant my IRL family?
No. You're Jaylyn Grinfold. Okay. Good to know.
That's so good.
Perfect. So, starting off with a little bit of some backstory, what you guys need to know about Jaylyn. So, she is a woman of Bree, and she is at the very young age of 20 years old. So she's not the youngest in the party, but she is still quite young as far as adventurers do go. She grew up in the town of Bree, and so for those of you who aren't familiar, that is the town that Frodo visits. Frodo and company visit in the Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring, where they meet Strider. So in the world of Eriador, in the region of Eriador, there's not a lot of people who live there. There's pretty much hobbits in the Shire. There's the elves that live on the west, and then the elves of Rivendell. But right smack dab in the middle of Eriador is a land called the Breeland, to which they descend from a long line of humans, but they are, they're pretty much this soul society out in the middle of the wilderness. And so Jaylyn, she grew up here, and she had a father named, or has a father named Stefan, and a mother named Winfrey. And with her upbringing, she actually lived a pretty comfortable life. So the people of Bree, they're typically pretty prosperous. There's a lot of travelers, especially dwarves, that travel the Great Road, the Great East Road, which goes right through the middle of Bree. And But the odd thing was her family was wealthy and not really anybody knew why. Jaylyn, growing up, realized that her dad maybe had been involved in maybe some underhanded business as she grew up and saw that this money was, obviously coming from somewhere. Every month, her father would leave on a couple-day trip, and he would come back with his pockets full. I'm not really knowing what this was about. Jaylyn decided, I'm not going to focus too heavy on that. But what she really started learning from her father, Stefan, was Stefan or Stefan?
There. Sorry, I just had to unmute my mic. I imagine like his subordinates, like the people who like he'd looked up to, called him Stefan.
Stefan. Okay.
As like the more I don't know, like formal use of the word. Jaylyn just calls him Stefan or Steffo or something. Good to know.
Yeah. Good to know. So Stefan, as his subordinates say, or Stefan, as Jaylyn mentions, she learned a lot from him. And so one of the key features that she actually drew from him was his ambition. She realized growing up in Bree, it was a pretty small society, again, in the middle of the wilderness, that she was born for something greater. Whether that was to go out on the roads adventuring, she was really, involved in quite a few ideas as she was growing up. She learned a lot from her mother, especially in the musical arts. So she learned to play music, she learned to sing, and she grew with her mother that way. But her mother did realize that she started kind of, having these desires of the road, or having these desires of, something away from the home, something away from the hearth. And as she became of age, she started training with the sword. And so Walter Greystone, he is the Wardens of Bree. He's one of the weapons trainers, weapons masters of the Wardens of Bree. And being a close confidant to her father, Stefan, Walter decided to take on Jaylyn as an apprentice in the ways of swordcraft, in the ways of defending, so that one day she may become a warden of Bree, which is essentially a protector of Bree. They're the ones who are the guards. Bree's very safe relatively, and so pretty much what their jobs are is to deal with a little bit of civil unrest and then maybe some creatures in the wild, but they take their jobs very seriously, especially when it comes to the defense of Bree. That can't be understated how important that job is. And so with that goal in mind, Jaylyn, she decided to train hard every single day under Walter. And as she was growing up, she actually attended one of the few schools that are in Bree. Obviously, she came from money, so she was able to do so. And in the meantime, she actually ended up making a couple of friends and some acquaintances in Bree, one of which being a young man by the name of Lachlan. And so Lachlan, he... Actually, his dad was not necessarily a warden of Bree, but he goes by the name Lachlan Goatleaf. His father is the gatekeeper, and so his father is the one who lets people in and out, and figures out what's going on, who's joining, especially when there's a lot of dwarfs and adventurers that come along inside the town. He's the one who's in charge of that, and Lachlan is being raised to be in his father's footsteps. However, that's not something that he wants to do. His allure is for the road. He wants to travel, and both Lachlan and Jaylyn have had lots of conversations growing up about how they want to travel, where Lachlan, he wants to meet the elves, he wants to learn elf magic, he wants to learn particularly how to heal. For that, where Jaylyn, she wants to, with the strength of her arms, with the strength of her blade, be able to not only protect her friends, the ones that she loves, but perhaps figure something out that, as far as her father's ambitions, having a little bit of wandering the world and becoming stronger. That ambition is really something that has been boiling up in her, and now being 20 years old, that's something that she really feels like is needs to come out, that needs to come forth. And so we're going to actually go ahead and begin our session here with kind of a brief introduction of the current situation. So with Jaylyn being 20 years old, she's actually studied for a couple of years to become a warden. However, it is custom in Bree that every single year to let one new, basically, cadet to the wardens inside the academy, inside the group every year. And so Jaylyn actually isn't the only one who is attempting to join the Wardens of Bree. In fact, one of her classmates that she grew up with, someone who she always considered to be her rival, has decided to do this as well. He has not taken the personal weapons training that Walter has offered Jaylyn. However, he, coming from money as well, has found other means to be able to train and whatnot. And so Jaylyn and Tad is his name, are basically going to be in competition to try to get this spot in the Wardens, basically as a Warden of Bree. And so, focusing in, we have Jaylyn. So she's going to go ahead and representing herself along with Lachlan. Attempts to undergo the training course that every recruit is supposed to make, and upon successful completion usually means you enter. However, because she has competition this year, she is going to be competing for this spot in order to become a Warden of Bree. So we're going to go ahead and just leave it off to there. So let me go ahead and...
Okay.
So, it is a beautiful spring morning in the land of in the Breeland, and Jaylyn has made her way down to the local out kind of more just outside of Bree, to the local training facility that travelers go and they use to train and hone their weapons and hone their skills, but it's run by the Wardens of Bree, and they have actually an obstacle course that they built specifically for this purpose. And every single year, at the beginning of spring, these auditions, these training sessions to become a Warden are undergone. And so there's basically two things that each recruit is having to compete for and successfully complete. It's the first and foremost, the dexterity course. So the Breeland is a very hilly, intense place, and you need to have quite a bit of strength and dexterity in order to overcome such obstacles, especially because Bree itself is built on basically on this giant hill, and so you have to be able to get from place to place very efficiently, especially when duty calls, and especially in the dark of the night. And so they have set up this obstacle course in order for her to complete. So we're going to go ahead and begin. So actually, so Jaylyn, you are competing solely by yourself on this course, where actually Tad has already completed this course and he is waiting for you in the next step of this. And so what you basically make your way down there, and this it's very ramshackle, kind of thrown together, all kinds of palisades that have been set up, things that you have to be able to basically run up, run down, be able to dodge. There's a couple of people that are basically like throwing stuff at you as you're making your way through this course. So we're going to go ahead and begin. We're going to start off with a kind of preparedness. So I'm going to have you make an intelligence skill check for me as you kind of rack your brain through, just everything that's going on. Yep. So, intelligence.
Okay, one straight intelligence coming up. Hang on. Ah, there we go. Hey, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good. So with a 16, Jaylyn, you make your way up onto the first platform. This is something that Walter has actually given you a little bit of insight on about, maybe you're going to come across some of these. And you make your way to the top of the platform, and you immediately see 2 or 3 ropes that are hanging probably about 5 to 10 feet-ish above the ground. You're going to have to swing from both of them in order to make it to the other side. There's 2 ropes that you have to swing across. So I'm going to have you, as you jump, first make an athletics skill check for me.
Oh boy, I can't wait to see how this is gonna go. Hang on, just let me find it. There it is.
Oh, is that a natural one?
It's a natural one.
Oh man. So Jaylyn, you make your way up to the platform and you leap. You actually jump further than you think, and you completely overshoot it. The anticipation and everything that has gone through you is just rushing through you, and you just leap into the abyss, and you attempt to grab, and it's suddenly behind you. You reach out attempting to grab the second rope, and you're not quite there, and you just fall face planting. You take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as you fall to the ground.
The dice betrayed me.
You dust yourself off, and you look up, and you're just like, oh, so frustrated. What is going on here? And unfortunately, because of that, you are escorted on to the next onto basically the next part of the course. You basically just walk on the ground and down around it. And so this next part is a wall that you actually end up having to climb. And so with this one, I'm going to actually have you make an acrobatics skill check as you climb to the top of this wall.
Okay. So this is a disadvantage, so I roll twice?
It's not a disadvantage, it's just normal.
Okay, yeah. I have a disadvantage marked for some reason.
Currently, it says that you're wearing a shield. I will say that you don't have your shield equipped right now. It's not like you're running with your shield, so that's why you have a disadvantage right now.
I'm gonna have a shield. That's fine.
That was 14?
Yeah, 14 total.
Alright, as a 14, you climb up no problem. Actually, this is something that you have been training for, and you actually recognize this wall as you've come down here, and this is part of your training every single day before you do weapons training to build your dexterity and your strength. And you make your way up, scrambling up to the top of the wall, and as you find yourself appearing down over what looks to be a basically this like straightaway with some kind of brick walls that are spread throughout, and you see a bunch of older people, older than you at least, and not too old, but they have what look to be clumps of mud. And the purpose of this next task is for you to make your way through dodging them. However, the walls are high enough where they're not going to be able to see you. So this is going to be a stealth mission. So as you make your way through, you have to make sure you be quiet. However, if you do make sound, you're going to have to make your way through the rest of the course with people throwing clumps of mud at you, essentially. And you will get graded based on how many times you have been hit. And so you make your way down into the course. And there's a couple walls for you to immediately hide behind. They know that you have entered, but they have not heard anything or start throwing. I'm going to have you make a stealth check for me.
Let's go. Only I could do that. I'll be honest. Only I could do that.
What was that? Sorry, I missed it.
So it is a natural 20 for a total of 21.
Natural 20. And so you crouch low to the ground and you examine the ground in every spot. There's a mixture of patches of grass and dirt. You know that the patches of grass are going to completely muffle your steps. And fortunately for you, they are spread out so well, so perfectly, to where you're able to, step on them and make literally zero noise. You make your way about halfway through, and you realize how easy that this is going to be. And because of that natural 20, I'm not going to have you make a second check. You actually make it through the remainder of this portion of the course, no problem at all.
I'm too good, boy.
too good, and Jaylyn, you're
I'm
actually
too good.
you
Jaylyn's
are
definitely letting her ego get to her. She's just like
exactly, and
piece of cake.
yeah, like it's almost as if like the first fall had not even happened. Like you're really feeling motivated to get through this, and so you finally approach what looks to be a giant palisade arena. And standing at the top of this, you actually see a couple of individuals. So both of them you do recognize. The first one is Walter. So Walter is standing there. He's got a sword basically in his sheath. And he gives you basically a round of applause. But standing next to him is a gray-haired man. And he's actually wearing what looks to be some kind of plate armor, which is very strange, but for the typical getup. And you can tell that this is purely ceremonial. As far as this armor is concerned. But this individual, you've met once or twice, but you know him by the name of Maynark. He is actually the chief of the Wardens of Bree, and he basically gestures for you to approach the gate.
Okay, I will do so.
And so as you do so, oh, come on, man. I believe you. As you do so, he kind of puffs up his chest and says, Jaylyn Grimfold, tell me, are you ready to complete this task? It seems that, you definitely succeeded in this final part of the task, far more than far more than Tad, let's just say that. However, you do seem both relatively even as far as this goes. Are you ready for the combat challenge of the test?
Yes.
Walter, he shakes his head almost as like, okay, this is everything that you've been training for. Like, your whole life is like led up to this point.
Yeah. And she knows it too. There's absolutely no hesitation in her voice.
Absolutely. And so you make your way into this arena. And you're going to go ahead and start off right here. The arena is a mixture of, you can tell, it's been used quite a bit for all kinds of training and all sorts of things, whether it's archery, whether it's actually sword play. But it does look different. You can tell that they've placed obstacles around this to be able to, not only for you to use to your advantage, but for an added difficulty as well within this. And on the other side, you see Tad. So Tad is a boy. He's always kind of annoyed you a little bit. He's one of those know-it-alls, but like also like a really go-getter. So kind of like he kisses butt. He does his thing where he's just like, oh yes, I'm like the best student that there is. Like, it is my duty. And like, this guy really gets on your nerves because everything that he says is kind of backhanded to you. Like, even in class, like, he was always competing with you as far as getting better grades. And he stands up and he's wielding currently a shield and what looks to be a club. And these clubs are actually typically what are used by the Wardens of Bree, and so you can tell he's been training with this. You pull out your broadsword, but in this case it's a sparring broadsword. And so you actually don't own a sword of yourself. That's something that the Wardens of Bree are granted upon basically becoming a warden. So right now you are using the training weapon that you have. It's still going to have the same stats and everything that your normal broadsword does. And then you have a shield. So this shield is actually a gift to you from Walter. It is a wooden round shield that's banded together with metal, and on its surface it has the iconography of Bree on it. This is something that you hold near and dear to your hearts, but now that you officially have this equipped, any of those checks that are going to be made that are disadvantaged are currently disadvantaged right now. So unless you want to unequip it, you can do that and get rid of all those disadvantages. It's totally up to you however you want to do this. But you see Tad at the other end, and he smirks and he says, Jaylyn! Oh, look at you. You've completed the task, but I will tell you, myself, am going to become the first and youngest warden of Bree that they have seen in quite a long time. Together we will fight, and together We will show our stuff, and I will emerge victorious. I have trained quite a bit for this day, and hopefully you have too. We shall see.
This guy's the same age as me, isn't he?
He absolutely is.
Okay. Here's what I say. Yeah, alright, legend.
Legend in the making. And he kind of talks to himself, and he's like, it pumps him up, and then he just like thinks a little bit. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but he's pretty good intellectually, but like wisdom wise, like he's not the sharpest tool. So like the street talk, he's like right over his head. He looks kind of across the field. He's like, well then, so be it. Go ahead and roll for initiative.
This guy's getting wrecked. If I don't absolutely smoke him, I'm gonna be so mad at myself.
I love it.
Where's initiative?
Initiative is going to be oh, got it.
At
the
there it is.
Top of your sheet.
Yeah. I'm too used to roll 20.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's an 8 total. Roll 20 has a bit of a different layout, but that's okay.
Yeah, I've never used Roll20, so but I trust that it's it
is different.
Different, yeah. All right.
Yeah. Not too much different though. Yeah, so that was an 8 for initiative.
Perfect, awesome. Let me go ahead and add that in, and we will go ahead and jump right to it. As the battle commences, you see Tad, he begins to duck, and he begins to almost crawl. Although his ducking makes him completely out of sight, you have no idea where he is on the battlefield, as he seems to have dipped behind this front row of barricades in this wall. I'm going to actually have you make a perception check, trying to figure out if you can detect where he is.
Perception's down here. Ooh, yeah, I'm not too bad at perception. Ooh, that is 19 total.
19. You hear him from your right. So if you look at your character, from kind of down to the south here, from your right, somewhere around this corner, you have generally revealed him, and you kind of take a gaze, and you see that his head is barely peeking out as he has his club with you. It is now your turn in the initiative.
Okay. I am gonna kind of roll my eyes at that.
Okay.
These squares measured in 5 feet?
Yeah, 5 feet.
Okay, so it's no club. You know what? I'm just gonna walk straight down the line.
Alright, perfect. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, around here? Or here?
I can't see your cursor on the map, which is weird. Yeah, it's like right. Yeah, just like as far forward as I can go. And can I use an action to dash to move my movement again?
You absolutely can.
Okay, I'm just gonna do that then. I'm just like staring directly at him the whole time, just like this show of intimidation as I just casually walk up the middle.
He has not realized that you've seen him too, though. And so, like, you start moving, and you make your way this direction. Where do you want to finish dashing to? Just right up in front of him?
Just right up in front of him. He's like, you're not hiding from me, bro.
And you appear around, and you actually startle him. I'm going to have you make an intimidation check for me.
Okay. Sweet. Oh, I'm pretty good at intimidation.
Bards, I'm telling you.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's once again, that is a 19 on the dice.
A 19. You basically have this very menacing aura, and you make your way up, almost to the point where like you've snuck up on him. And how do you want to alert him to your presence? You have a very high intimidation, so.
Yeah. So like just completely not bothered. Flavor wise, I would like do something, but I don't think I can do that. So yeah, so I'll just go up to him and just lean down next to him and just whisper, "What you looking at, mate?"
And immediately his face
That's it,
slow turns, and it's just like, "Whoa!" And he just like almost like falls back on his butt as he does so. He's going to actually make a dexterity saving throw as you have startled him so bad. He catches himself, fortunately for him, I guess. And he stands up and he faces you and he says, "Well, so be it." And he like begins attempting to smack down. We are now in the next round of combat, and so he has the higher initiative, so he's going to go ahead and attempt an attack. So he, wielding his club, is going to attempt to basically bop you as hard as he can with that attack. So he's going to go ahead and make a roll. Does a 16 hit.
Armor class of 15, so a 16 would hit.
All right. He is going to damage you for, or he's going to bop you for 3 points of a bludgeoning damage as he's all, and he just like, he kind of like stands up and like is a little bit startled at that, and so he's like just kind of like grazes you as you kind of somewhat deflect it, and then he kind of hits you, strikes you a little bit on the head, but you're good to go, and it is your turn in combat.
Okay, I am going to try and whack him in my turn with a bit more style than just a bop, I think.
I like
Jaylyn's. Yeah, Jaylyn likes her, has a flair for the dramatic.
Jaylyn's been trained too, so.
Yeah. Alright, so that's a 14 total to hit.
14 total is not going to hit. You lunge out at him and he puts his shield up. He has a very similar style shield to you, except it doesn't have like any markations on it. And boom, your basically blunted sword hits it and doesn't do anything. And then he's just like, oh. His turn, at the beginning of his turn, he's going to use his bonus action to attempt to disengage. He's going to be doing this as a basically disadvantage. He's going to have to make a check because he is cornered here and he's trying to escape backwards. So he's going to be making basically a dexterity saving throw at disadvantage, to which he gets I don't think it's great, an 8. And so he stumbles and he falls backwards on his butt. He spends half of his movement to get up, and he begins moving. And that's as far as he can move. And he is basically going to spend his action to pick up a stone that is on the ground. He takes his club, he puts it back, and he picks up a stone ready to throw a rock at you.
Okay, I don't think that's strictly scout rules. I could probably attempt to like if I stealth around, that would outflank him. But I think it would take too long. I don't want to get hit with a rock though.
Yeah, you can tell he has fear in his eyes. I mean, probably still from the intimidation that you had.
As well he should.
But he has this rock in his hand. He's just like, I don't want her to get close to me at all. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win this, but I'm not gonna do this close combat stuff. So
I mean, okay, Jaylyn's pretty done with him, so she will advance once more, I think.
Okay. So just normally, not stealthily?
Yeah, I think just normal, because I think stealthing would be an action. And...
Yes. Yeah, it would be a bonus action. I'd let it be a bonus action.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I may as well then.
All right.
I'll stealth.
All right, so which direction would you like to stealth? Stay out of his line of sight.
Yeah. So yeah, I probably want to go down. Like, he's expecting me to come out of, like, this little section there.
Most likely, as that's the direction
Yeah.
he's facing.
Like, that is the direction he's facing.
Mhm.
So I reckon if I go around, like, the other way,
Okay.
I can just hit him from, like, the diagonal.
I will say that this area right here is difficult terrain, so this is going to cost 20 feet to move through.
Okay. Got 30 feet of movement.
So you would be able to pop out basically right here. Or right here. Or right here.
Yeah.
One of these three places.
Yeah, like, I would pop out. But I still wanna be able to hit him. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stealth.
Okay.
I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna pop out on this square here.
Okay.
And I'm gonna throw a rock at him.
Alright, go ahead and make a stealth check for me as you do so.
2 can play at this game, bucko. Oh, I have disadvantage on stealth. Hang on. This might not go well. 15, that's not too bad.
No, that's not too bad at all.
And a 1, baby! There's the other one.
Yes. You
Damn.
make your way through here.
Unlucky.
And you kick a rock. And he immediately is aware of your presence, and he turns around and is like, "Oh!" And he like almost is like standing there, like not knowing what to do. Which it's going to be his turn, and so he is looking at his rock, looking at his club that's on his side, and he's gonna drop the rock and pull out his club, and he's gonna just charge. He's like he's screaming his head off for glory as he goes and he just charges you forwards. He's going to attempt to bop you with his club. So let's see here. Ooh. Does a 14 doesn't hit, does it?
No, it does not.
No, you block it with your shield as he just boom, and you hear this actually very heavy crack against your shield. Like, you can tell like he actually has some strength behind his blows, but it doesn't seem to do anything or phase you in it one way or another. It is your turn.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I am going to try and use his strength against him, and I'm just gonna attack with my little broadsword. Dang it. 10's not gonna do much.
10 ain't gonna do it, but
as much as I hate to admit it, he's too good.
He's too good. Well, he's got this defense going. You can tell like his straight up his specialty is like kind of hiding behind his shield. Does that make sense? And so like he's used to this. He's just like kind of looking and like just peering over the top of his shield. He's like, okay, I've got this, and he's just like trying to make his strikes whenever he can. He is going to use his bonus action to disengage, and he is going to make his way. He's going to make a dexterity check as he attempts to jump up and over this haystack. To which he got a natural 20. He's able to do so with flying colors, and he jumps down on the other side, and he's going to use his action to pick up another rock. He can't really decide what he wants to do, but that's what he's...
My goodness.
That's what he's going to try to do.
This man is everything I hate. Okay, so, Sorry, I'm just thinking.
So I will say, some of the special combat rules, if you attempt to come here and get him, you can do a couple of things. One, attempt to kind of half climb up on top of this. If you try to attack him from the other side, you're gonna have to make an in the way check, which before anything happens on a roll, basically you roll straight d20 on a roll of 1 through 10. You're either striking the wall or the hay and not him. So you have to strike through that to make sure. You can attempt to try to get on top by making a skill check, and if you do so, you can actually make your attack with advantage as you are defending the higher ground. So that's another way to do it.
All right. Yeah, I will move along, and I'll attempt to get on find the high ground, Anakin.
All right. And so I'm going to have you, as you climb, make an acrobatics check for me.
Okay. Acrobatics is at disadvantage. Would it be an action to get rid of my shield?
I would say support action to just throw it down to the ground.
Yeah, that leaves me -2 AC.
Yeah, -2 to your AC.
Okay. I'll leave it off for now, I think.
Okay.
Oh, never mind. Okay, so the lower of the two was a 4.
A 4. So you begin to climb, and immediately you slip, and you fall back onto basically the side, and you can tell like there's some wetness that's down below this, and you've slipped and you've fallen. You are currently at the moment prone. So right now you have 3/4 cover though, and so he would have to make a pretty good hit unless he went around in order to try to get you.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be able to strike you if he climbed on top because you're flat on your back down here. So this is actually a decent position to be prone in.
Yeah, it's good enough. Like I'll pretend it was intentional later when I brag to all my friends about it.
Yeah, there you go. And so he is going to see that, and he's going to attempt to take the upper hand. So he is going to... He's going to come around here and attempt to throw his rock at you. So you have technically, again, the prone rules, he's going to have disadvantage on this attack against you. Because you are just flat on your back, and he's going to have to make this range attack. So he's going to go ahead and attempt to chuck this rock at disadvantage, and that is going to be a 7. So he just chucks it, and boom, it like sticks into the hay that is directly behind you. This stone, and he's just like, ooh, ooh. And he kind of just is like standing there, almost like shaking, as you have your turn, Jaylyn. Oh, you're muted.
Thank you for the reminder.
No worries.
Cool. So I'm flat on my back, so I'll stand up.
Okay, so that's half your movement. So you have 15 feet.
Okay. Yeah. Can I go... Yeah. I just want to get in within striking range, and then...
So you can actually make your way... So 5, 10, 15. This... I know, it's so stupid. Yeah. Technically, this is 10 feet away.
It's so good.
So you will be unable to make a strike against him at this point.
So rude. Cool. So if I can't get within distance,
you could. For example, if you made your way here, he would have half cover behind this little bit of. Which, I mean, an attack, I guess, could be better than no attack, especially because he is within range to attack you. Just FYI.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it would be better to get on the haystack, though. Yeah, you know what? Jaylyn's pretty confident. She's going to get rid of her shield, and she's going to get on the haystack.
So you discard your shield right here in this square. So just kind of remember here if you wish to go pick it up again.
Yeah.
So go ahead and make an acrobatics check for me as you climb on top of this haystack.
Acrobatics. Boop. Ooh, yep, that does it. That's a natural 20 for a 21.
You jump up top. It's just this giant leap as you go right on top, not even attempting to have it. And as you do so, I'm going to have you make an intimidation check as you turn around glaring at him.
Okay. Do I get advantage? No. Intimidation.
He's pretty afraid already.
Yeah.
But
Okay, yeah, that's a 23.
23. You turn around. How do you want to intimidate him up on top of his haystack?
Okay, I'll do that like okay, got rid of my shield. Now I'm feeling comfortable. Like, we didn't train with shields, are you kidding me? So I'll just do like a really cool like blade flourish. And then I'll just dramatically point the sword at him, just being like, Yeah, come on, mate.
He looks at you, and it's just like the thought of you ditching your shield for, you know, the higher ground and being able to do this. He's just like, I don't understand her tactics. Is there some secret that she knows about that I don't? And he just begins booking it in this direction. And he's gonna go ahead and pick up another rock. It is your turn. Level 1
okay.
combat's really nice. It's just like, you do one thing, you do another thing.
Oh man. Okay. Can I reach a rock?
I would say there is one rock that is stuck in the hay, which is the rock he threw at you.
Okay, yep. I will take that rock, and as I throw it at him, I'll just yell, "Coward!" Okay.
So basically what this is your strength modifier is going to be the damage of this rock.
Okay.
Do you have any strength modifiers?
That's a fair question. I have +0 to strength.
Alright, so even if you chucked this rock at him and you hit, it wouldn't do anything, so...
It would annoy him.
Yeah,
that would do something.
It would annoy him. That's sure. So you check it. I'm not even gonna make you have a roll for it since you can't damage. But you chuck it at him and you do hit him. You strike him and it glances off of his shield and he's just like, "This woman using my tactics on against me," and he's just like, he's pissed. He is not happy about this, and he picks up his rock. Well, he has his rock, and he's going to go ahead and sneak close. He's going to try to somewhat duck behind this, and he is going to... He's in just range to be able to chuck this rock at you. He's going to do so. And because you are in a heightened position, you don't have any cover, so he's just going to do it. Okay, I don't think that's going to do it. 14 will not hit you. Oh, no, will it?
Yeah, it will, because I got rid of my shield.
Alright, so he does, and he strikes you in the shoulder, and it takes 1 point of damage to you.
Damn.
Bludgeoning damage, so he just...
Yeah.
And he chucks it.
Damage is still damage.
Great, it's a hit! And he's just like looking to like see like what his next move is, but it's your turn.
Yes, dude. I'll just like sort of turn around, catch Walter's eye and just be like, "Are you seeing this?" Anyway, I will slide all down the haystack, retrieve my shield.
Okay.
Yeah.
This
direction. And I'll go around this way actually. And I'll just like duck down behind the wall, try and get some. Where my cursor is pointing, so like to the north of the map.
That way?
If we're, okay. That's the one.
Perfect.
Easy.
You do so. He is on the other side of this wall. I'm gonna actually have you make a stealth check to see if he's noticed that you've done that. Because he was preoccupied trying to like find like another rock.
Find another rock, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is disadvantage because I have my shield back. Ooh, that's not a good roll. That's not a great roll either. 6.
6.
It's got to be a 6.
He does notice you. However, it doesn't seem like he's going to get any kind of like preemptive jump on you or anything, or any kind of surprise. He notices you, and you're well aware. He peeks his head up over the wall, and he's just like, "Drat!" And he goes ahead and he books it over here, and is just like, and he grabs his club, and he's just like, "I'm going to finish this once and for all!" And he is going to attempt to whack you with his club. Ooh, I don't think that will hit. That's going to be a 12.
Misses easily. Doesn't even hit my shield.
He just goes, and you duck under it, and it's just like, he's just like, now he's like kind of in the open, and just like, "Oh, what are you going to do?" It's your turn.
Oh yeah. Well, you already know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try stabbing this guy.
Oh.
Stabby stab. I haven't hit him once. I'm so annoyed by that.
Well, maybe this is your turn.
Nah. 13 doesn't hit, does it?
13 will not hit. As you do so, he just shield in front and clank right off of his shield. He is going to attempt to boop again. That's what he's gonna do. He's made himself just like, I'm going to do this. Come on, Tad. If you're going to do this, you're going to. And then he just like goes ahead and he attempts to bop again. To which that one is going to be a 21 hit. Not nat 20. It's not crit damage, but.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
I know.
Yeah, that hit.
Mr. Boy. That's going to be 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
And I'm down.
So Jaylyn falling unconscious, basically you kind of hear as you begin to fall, what's his face? Oh my gosh, my notes. You hear, Maynard, he calls, "That's it! That's it! It is over!" And, basically, both of him and Walter come down, and actually you can see, as you begin to kind of shake yourself and wake up, you see on this far end, your friend Lachlan. He's actually at the top of that palisade, kind of looking down on, and he looks a little bit sad, a little bit weary, but the other two, they make their way into kind of the arena area, and Maynard, he makes his way over to Tad and says, "Well, lad, both of you got around the same score on the first one, but as it seems you are the one standing here, you will be at least this year's warden, a new warden recruit of Bree." And Walter approaches you and holds out his hand in order to help you kind of get to your feet. Do you take it?
Do I take... sorry, whose hand is out to me?
Walter.
No.
No. How are you feeling?
I'm a bit salty right now.
Yeah.
I'll just, like, give him a bit of a look. And then get to my feet myself.
He pulls his hand back and says, "Jaylyn, I'm very proud of the way that you fought here today. To be honest, you've done yourself good. Not only were you flashy out there, and you did quite a few of the tricks that I've taught you, but you did fight fair, and you fought square." He kind of looks over to Tad and looks him up and down and says, "If it were my choice, I felt like you showed a lot more guts out there on the field. The Wardens don't like cowardice, but as it remains, a victory is a victory. Maybe better luck next year. That's another year for training." How are you going to respond?
Before I respond, I'm going to scan the crowd, if I assume there are spectators, and just search out, see if my mother and father came.
Mm-hmm. So you do so. As you do, I'm going to have you make a perception check.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, boy. Oh, my perception's not bad, actually. 11 total.
11. You scan the crowd, and there's a number of people. So basically, there's two platforms that you can see. This palisade raises up about 10 feet, and then there's a few spectators on either. You actually do not notice your father there, but your mother, Winfrey, is there. And she is standing pretty close to Lachlan. You noticed him right away.
Yeah. I'll look Walter straight in the eye and just say, "Yeah, might not have another year. I'm gonna go get a drink." I'll just give him a nod and then walk off. I'll gesture for Lachlan to come join me if he wants.
He doesn't say anything in return. He kind of looks at you, and you can tell by the look on his face that it's not a look of disappointment by any means. It's more of a look as if, like, I failed you.
Aww.
Yeah, he knows that you are a very fiery spirit, and that's something about these couple of years of training with him, and he knows that you have fought a lot for this moment, but there's something that seems to be like really heavy on his heart. I'm gonna have you make an insight check for me.
Okay. I mean, insight. Okay. Oh, cool. I actually have proficiency in this. So, natural 20, baby, for a 23. They're flying around the board today.
It's true. Great. It's true. Yeah. With that natural 20, you can tell when the few words that you spoke with him. It's the fact that you said there won't be a next year that seems to be like what is heavy on his heart, and he doesn't say anything, but it does. This was what kind of like pricked him a little bit, almost like, what does she mean? A little bit of concern, but at the same time, he wants to allow you to have your time to be able to get over this and to be able to get through this. You make your way over to this kind of eastern exit, and you make your way through the gates, and your mother is actually there to greet you, and she says, she doesn't immediately like hug you or approach you knowing your personality, but she says, "Sweetie, I don't know much about this, but I want you to know that your father and I are very proud of you." And you can tell she's having a very difficult time looking you in the
eye. I won't respond.
Okay.
But I will just like pull her into a slight hug, because more that I know that's what she wants to do more than me gaining any real comfort from it.
You feel her warmth, and you can like feel that she immediately relaxes a little bit, and she says, "I'm very proud of you, but I understand what you must do. Go with Lachlan. He's always had a way of helping you get through tough moments such as this."
Yeah. All right then.
Lachlan, he looks at you firmly in the eye. There is no hesitancy that says, "That was a load of bull. You know that, right?"
I mean, I have thoughts.
No. I have thoughts. I'm telling you, Jaylyn, who throws rocks? That's
it's a bit underhand, yeah.
Yeah. How do they allow that? He's just like going on and on about just like, this is freaking not fair. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, all right, mate. Come on, let's go. Let's go get a drink or something.
Yes. We shall, and I know just the right brew to be able to get you. And so you make your way through town, like back through the front gates.
I imagine he's still like ranting and raving.
Oh yeah, and the thing that really continues to pop up, he's just like, "I will say it was quite a show that you brought us, but Jaylyn, you are very scary when you were in combat. You know that, and that's something that he keeps saying. Is just like, even I was scared during that." And he's just he's very persistent about that.
Hey, how long have you known me, mate? I'm scary all the time.
Well,
you just choose to ignore it on account of my stunning personality.
But here's the thing, even though I might be a little bit afraid of you, I also know that you won't hurt good old Lachlan here. And he kind of looks at you and says, and like gives you like a wink and says, "Anyways, there's nothing a few brews won't be able to help."
I don't know, mate.
Trust me, I know. Couple of years, but we're still young. I mean, look at me. I haven't even made any progress towards my goals. I mean, and one thing that you did know about Lachlan is he did not come from the wealth that you did. His family, I mean, obviously he's training to kind of be like a gatekeeper, but he currently actually works at the Prancing Pony. the famous establishment in the center of Bury, where everything is. And he is actually a stable boy. He works there. And so in his off times, he often will go there, and especially when he's feeling like very down in the dumps, he goes to his favorite pony in the stable. Her name is Winifred. Oh, not Winfrey. That's not the name. That's your mother's name.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that sounds
not
very
Winfrey.
similar.
Sorry, Maisie. Maisie.
Sorry, what was the name? Maisie.
Maisie.
I'm writing that down.
Mm-hmm. So it's this it's a pony, and she seems to have some kind of connection to Lachlan, and actually is quite friendly to you as well, Jaylyn. And but you don't go directly to the stables. You make your way into the Prancing Pony, and it is a buzz. It's like the middle of the afternoon on like a weekday, and it is still busy. This is crazy. And so you make your way through the doors, and nobody pays any mind to you. There's a decent number of people sitting immediately in front at some of the tables. There's a mixture of men. There's a mixture of dwarves as well. Hobbits as well. There's some hobbits. A couple of the hobbits are actually workers at this place, and you know them a little bit. But you see at the very far end the jolly chap of Barnabas Butterbur, and he is just like doing his thing. Like, you're charismatic, Jaylyn, but this dude is like the epitome of charisma. And he is just making his way, like talking to all the people at the bar, and just is like, getting all basically buddy with them. You walk in. Is there anything that you want to do? Immediately go up and get drinks? Do you want to go talk to maybe some of the people, or do you want to just like kind of sit, talk to Lachlan? It's up to you. Okay,
here's what we're gonna do, because I imagine Lachlan and I are very we've done this quite a few times.
Oh yeah.
Maybe definitely. Even more than quite a few times.
Definitely.
So like,
this is a regular.
I will go and I will grab us a table like in some like out of the way corner where it won't be like in anyone's way or anything. And then he is gonna go and get us as many drinks as he thinks that a grieving would-be warden might need.
So he does so, and he looks to you, and he's like, "Don't worry about it, Jaylyn. It's on me today." And he.
Oh yeah, right, mate. You bet it's on you.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. And so he pulls out like his coin pouch, and you can tell he's very carefully like putting out. And he like looks at you, adds a few more coins to his hand, and then he goes up to the bar, and
I will offer a few coins of my own, just like to supplement the.
Yeah, go ahead and just like remove one silver penny from your inventory.
Okay.
Yeah, a silver penny is
that's
like.
All we'll accept. Yeah, it was whatever. Cool.
That's good for a couple of them. And so you find your way into kind of this like nook here, and so you make your way into this booth. And Lachlan, he eventually comes back not too long later, and he's got 4 cups of beer in his fists, and he plops them down on the table and says, "So Jaylyn, tell me, what are your plans going forward from here? I mean, clearly you're not defeated, right? I mean, Jaylyn, I'm telling you, you're the strongest person that I know, and don't let stupid Tad over there do anything to, dissuade you from your dreams."
How well do you know Stefan?
Your father?
Yeah.
He thinks, I don't know, as well as any other of my friends' dads, I guess. Not too well? Kind of? Maybe? Our dads don't really talk to each other or do much of business, and I usually come there, and it's usually your mother that, sends you off with me, so not a whole lot about your father.
Yeah, he has, you don't just fail when you meet, okay? You can't do that. It's not a thing that's done, I suppose. Like, my dad, you don't say no to my dad. You don't stand in his way, and heaven help you if you stab him in the back. Like, just getting it out there. If he ever asks you for anything, just give it to him. It's easier.
But Jaylyn, did he ask you to do this?
No, I have a bad feeling. Like, I'm of age now, and unmarried daughters of age to aspiring politicians are a valuable commodity that doesn't happen very often.
But let's be honest, Jaylyn. I mean, are you really the marrying type? And he immediately is just like, and then he just like looks down and says, "That's not what I mean. I mean."
No, I know what you meant, all right? And we dated a couple of times, but it didn't work out.
Right. Indeed.
You know this about me, all right? I mean, I love my mother, I really do, but I'm not her. I can't be just a wife. I can't.
To be honest, I can't really picture you as a wife.
Neither can I. Like, maybe a wife, but like, not a wife, you know? Like, I know, maybe. No, let's be honest. I'm not gonna find love. I don't think that's on the cards for me.
Jaylyn, I wouldn't be so hard on yourself, but I do understand the sentiments that you're trying to get at. To be honest, one of the things that has really been weighing very heavy on my heart is the fact that I'm never going to be able to leave the walls of the city.
Oh, come on. Come off it.
But here's the thing, Jaylyn.
Fine.
Here's the thing. I respect my father. I really do. But I feel like I was made for the wide world. To be honest, I haven't really been past the Brandywine in my whole life. I know that there's hobbits that exist, I know that there's elves that exist, but I want to see something, Jaylyn. I want to see something that will inspire me. Nothing here inspires me. Everything's the same every day. I mean, who cares, like, how many travelers come through here? There's so many stories that they bring, and we like to sit and we like to listen, and we can dream. We're always dreaming. But I want to see the outside world. I want to see the elves. I want to see mountains. Jaylyn, we both know that you're much stronger than me. That's why I ask you. Why? What are you planning to do after this? Is this the end? Are you letting stupid old Tad Tillfield, who grew up over the hill over there, ruin your dreams? Strong Jaylyn.
What are you saying?
I don't know what I'm saying. To be honest, I've been frustrated with myself. I wish I had half the courage that you did. The fact that you've been able to stand up to so many people and face down all kinds of, unsavory individuals, growing up, going to school together. It was because of you, Jaylyn, that I was able to survive school. I'm saying, Jaylyn, you are destined for greatness. And while the road is my calling, I know we talked about it all of our lives. But while the road is my calling, I don't know what it is for you. It seems for the past couple of years, all you've talked about is becoming a warden here. Which is great. It's very, noble. Only the strong ones here in Bree can become that. Especially... And he kind of, like, glances at, like, some of the people at this table. Not this table, but all the other tables that are around. There's a couple kind of, like, shifty individuals that are there. There's a couple people with, like, hoods up. Some people, like, smoking. But, like, everyone's minding their own business. And some of them are, like, kind of scanning. The Wardens of Bree are what keep people like that here in line. And I think you can do that. I mean, just by your sheer voice alone, I mean... Who would want to approach you for doing anything wrong to a precious town? And don't get me wrong, Bree is precious. It is. I think it's worth fighting for. But I do feel being stuck in here, I can't provide what I want. Go ahead, Jaylyn, and make a traditions check for me.
Ooh.
One of the new checks.
The new ones. Oh yeah, here we go. Huzzah! It's a 13.
13.
Lucky number.
You can tell he's hinting at something. Years back, his mother had actually passed from some kind of, like, disease. Some kind of bacterial. She was out, and she basically, like, stepped on, like a super sharp stone. But it ended up getting infected, and there was nobody that was in the town that was able to actually treat the wound. And so one thing that you've noticed with him is lately, more and more, you've noticed that he's been having, like, small books, and they're, like, herbology kind of books, trying to figure out, like, you know, how to create medicines. And in this time, one of the things that you've realized is his... maybe desire to seek the elves, maybe his desire for the road, you can at least kind of assume, has something to do with healing. He wants to become a healer. And so that's for him, that's something that he really strives for. Quietly, silently strives for. He's mentioned it once or twice to you, so you're somewhat aware of it, but yeah, it's just something for him that, like, it's very personal, and you can tell, like, a bunch of emotions bubbling up right now.
Hi, mate.
Yes?
He
drinks half of a beer, just one gulp, like half of it down, and he puts it on the table. He looks
steady on there. I think that it would be best for me if I left for a while. Would you like to come with me?
He smiles and he sits there. He doesn't respond immediately. And he looks at you and says, Jaylyn, I would follow you to the ends of this earth. However, people count on me here. But I just don't know. And he can tell, like he drinks a little bit more. Like, he's a very conflicted guy.
Oh boy, mate, you don't need to answer straight away. I'm not like, actually. Now that I think about it, riding off in the dead of night actually sounds like a pretty good idea.
You know, my father takes the night watch. I don't know how we're going to be able to leave this place without his gaze.
I mean, I don't mind his gaze, just like whether or not he tried to stop us might be a thing.
Jaylyn, I have a question.
I just keep thinking about, oh my gosh, I just keep thinking about, you know, I'm gonna have to face my dad either, I don't know, probably tonight or tomorrow, whenever I see him next, and tell him that I didn't get in, and I know the look on his face is gonna be...
Jaylyn,
Yeah.
if you were to leave tonight,
Yeah.
I don't mean to pry, but if you were to leave tonight,
Yeah.
what would your mother think?
It's probably good for her. Is that terrible? Is that a terrible thing?
He shakes his head. No.
Mm.
No.
I mean, I don't know for sure what she'd say because I'd be gone. The only way to test this hypothesis is if we do it.
Make a perception check for me.
Mm. Where was the lie? There we go, perception. That's a flat out 10.
10.
Yeah.
You look around, and the music that had been playing you can tell that it's kind of like stopped. You can tell that they're changing, and it's become like a relatively quiet. There's like a soft murmur. You're not quite sure if anybody is actually listening in on your conversation, but in that silence, Lachlan looks up at you and says, I only ask, Jaylyn, because I don't know what my mother would think. She's gone. I don't have to worry about that. And yet I'm still here. What is keeping me here, Jaylyn? And he kind of like sits there, and it's like you can tell he's like kind of torturing himself over this, and his like indecisiveness is something that is you've known him to kind of be a little bit scattered in the past, but his indecisiveness is something that is very evident in like just his normal conversation. But this seems a little bit more than that. It's like a deep internal conflict. Like you can tell he's been thinking about this for a while.
Okay. I don't know, man. I don't think there's any shame in being tied to a place that you were born. I would be perfectly happy living the rest of my life here. But I can't stand on my own 2 feet here.
You know, I feel exactly the same way, actually. People rely on me, but I'm not sure I'm actually growing because of it. I haven't done a lot of work on me. I guess one of my biggest fears. Where would I go if I did leave? Where would we go?
I mean, you talked about, like, the elves and the mountains and that. We could start there. I mean, we could start small even. We take a hike tomorrow morning, and then the day out, like, maybe next week we go, you know, just for a couple of days, come back, see how we feel, go away for a week. And then one day we just leave and never come back.
The green country is very beautiful during this time of year, Jaylyn. I've been as far as Arquette, and never further than where the road goes into the wild. Our home is beautiful. I think that's partially the reason I'm so conflicted. We have it really good here, Jaylyn. One thing that, just kind of as like a side note, is very evident is Bree is a very peaceful place. There is very like little things to worry about, away from war, away from crime, away from poverty mostly. It's pretty darn comfortable. And he continues, I just feel like if we We left. We weren't appreciating the good that we do have. But I know what you're saying, Jaylyn. What good can we be here if we don't grow? And he looks downcast into his drink, and he polishes off the drink that he has in his hand, and he kind of sits up and goes, Jaylyn, I'm not much of a fighter. You know that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know.
Would you be there for me? Would you protect me?
Of course, mate.
I mean, I
Provided,
can do
of
what
course,
I can.
you'd be happy being protected by someone who couldn't even get into the wardens, couldn't even beat dumb Tad.
Well, I'm telling you, Tad doesn't know what one way or another. He just hides. That's all that he's done with his entire life.
Don't beat me. Like, a win's a win.
Hi, if you say so. A win is a win. But I do think you showed some guts out there, and I will say, I would feel much safer with you by my side if I was out there.
Well, if you'll have me, I'd love to be your knight in shining armor, mate.
He smiles, and he kind of chuckles to himself as he pulls the second beer close to him. That's the Jaylyn I knew. Even in defeat and even in my sadness, you always find a way to make me smile at least. Now the problem is, how can I make you smile? And he just like chuckles to himself, and he pushes your drink closer to you and says, drink up, my friend.
Yeah, I scull it.
Is very, very well deserved, and you cheers and clinks everywhere, and some time passes, and you guys chit chat for a little bit, and actually you notice that there is a boy peeking around the corner. This is a boy that you do recognize. He is one of the tavern keeps. He's a boy. He's a couple years younger than you, probably around the age of 16.
Okay.
He's a boy, still like adolescence for sure.
Yeah.
And he like looks to you, and like you can tell he's been like cleaning, doing his stuff, but like every now and then he just like keeps looking to both of you, and he eventually comes over as you finish your drinks and to collect them.
G'day, what's up?
Are you done with those?
Yeah, I think so. You got any left? Like, tap out the last 2 drops.
I'm pretty sure you're done. You've been drinking the same cup for some time now, and I'm pretty sure nothing's left in there. And he like gingerly grabs and like puts it back like on his tray. And Lachlan, he's kind of just like staring at him, just like, now tell me, what are you doing? Why do you keep staring at us? You did so all the time when we were at school. Why are you still doing this?
Well, because we're bloody legends, mate.
The boy, he laughs. And you actually recognize this boy. His name is Thomas. And he went to your school growing up, again, a few years younger than you. But your school, like, it is like the only school kind of in the area, but it's like one teacher. And so it's like a bunch of kids in like one classroom. So like you were classmates. He was a younger classmate. And he says, I mean, it's always just so fascinating to hear you speak. I didn't mean to pry or anything, but I noticed that you were talking about the road, and can you keep a secret?
In a very loud, slightly drunken whisper, I just reply, yeah, mate, I'm the best secret keeper of them all.
And Lachlan, he says, hey, you sir, your secret is always safe with me. These years, sometimes it goes in one ear and right out to the other. Who knows if I'll even remember what you... And he just kind of starts like mumbling drunkenly. Okay. No, this... He looks left to right. You two are very strong, and you were the best in our class. And you were talking about the road and all. Do you believe in ghosts? Kind of goes right out of nowhere. I'm going to have you make a riddle check for me.
Okay.
So again, another new skill.
Yeah. Do I believe in ghosts? Well, I rolled a yeah, it's a 19 on the dice for a total of 20.
Okay. So the thing that this riddle check is going to keep in mind is he doesn't seem to have any deception or any wrong things. If anything, you're actually noting hints of fear in him. The thing that he's bringing up to you is very personal and it worries him. He's actually being very real with you.
Okay.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Seeing as he's being so serious with us, I attempt to, like, sober up a little bit and just be like, oh, I don't know, mate. Never really thought about it before. Why? Did you see something?
He nods and he shakes his head. Not just once. Jaylyn. It's okay if I call you Jaylyn, right?
Go ahead, mate.
First time he has ever said your name.
Yeah,
just in general. First time ever. He's always
Yeah.
like looked at you and has never like actually addressed you. It's Jaylyn. I was overhearing you talk about the road, and I have dreams of it too, of course. I think every young one does. I found a way out of this town. Very cryptically, he says this.
Did you now?
He
Did
looks
you?
at... But there's a problem. My uncle. He perished about 5 years back. He was he looks to the other side again. A treasure hunter. You see, he has a fortune. My dad is a drunk. My goal, ever since my uncle's death, has been to leave this town. Of course, I wanted to get old enough to be able to venture out on my own, of course, but I want to be a traveling merchant. I learned a thing or two from our time at school together, and I get pretty good grades as well. I'm always complimented on the way I'm able to convince people of things. And even here, I can always sell a couple more drinks. I mean, it's not hard when they're drunk. I mean, no offense. But
I mean, fair enough, mate.
But
You've probably got me a couple of times, I just don't remember it.
he's really nervous now, and he's like shaking. My uncle. And he pulls out of his like little vest that he has out of his apron. He left me this. And he opens what looks to be a map. He buried his treasure. I know if I can just get my hands on that treasure, I can buy a horse, I could buy a pony, I could buy my wagon, I could even buy a sword or two. And he looks at some of the people that are sitting here. And I can make my way east. all the way to Lake Town. You've heard the rumors, the stories of Lake Town. Make a lore check for me.
All I want out of life is to get a natural 1 on this lore check. Please. Oh, okay. It's a 12, not a natural 1.
You've heard rumors of a terrible calamity from the east. News has spread to this point that a great evil has fallen. You don't know much more past that. You don't know anything about a lake town. You don't know anything about anything outside of the Breland as far as you know. But you know that there was some great evil out east that is now no longer.
I'll look at Lachlan, just be like, I don't know, mates. I heard there was a great evil was dealt with. Seems to be great evil every other month, I'll be honest. There'll be another one come along in a minute.
I think now is the time to go out east. And if you're planning on going on the road, if you can help me find my treasure, I could go with you, maybe. And he looks at you very hesitantly. And of course give you your share of the treasure.
Okay. What do you think, Lockie? You want to go treasure hunting?
Jaylyn, that sounds like the most exciting thing I've actually ever heard of here. Buried treasure. And it's... Wait, and he looks, he very seriously snaps to it. Tell me, lad, it's not in some stinking troll cave, is it? He shakes his head, and he points on the map, and what you can see is actually a little bit south of Bree. There is a small X, and it is down in the hills that are actually just south of the city. You yourselves have never traveled there, mostly because you get a spooky feeling. It's basically a place. It's called the Southern Downs. It's always covered in a layer of fog. No matter what the weather is in Bree, there's always a little bit of dark gloom that's down in the south of Bree. My uncle, he owned a property down there. And the cemetery plot where he was buried is not too far from there too. I've been down there a couple of times. Too scared, you see? And he begins shaking and trembling. I've seen a ghost. More than my fair share down there. But you, I know you're strong. I know both of you are strong. And he gulps. If you could just help me. I know exactly where it is. But if you could protect me from the ghost.
Alright.
I know I sound crazy. And he just looks at you.
Alright, it's all good, mate. I'm willing. I don't know. I'm willing to. Oh boy, some good ale you got here. I don't know about you, Lockie, but I'm pretty amenable to a little bit of crazy and a little bit of ghost talk if it'll get me some,
He begins just chuckling to himself, not really aware of his volume. Jaylyn, ghost stories. Those are for children. You do realize ghosts don't exist, do you? I think this is the easiest, quick couple of books that we could make. Don't you agree?
Tell me this, Lucky. How do you know they're not real if you've never seen one?
He crinkles his face up and just begins to think. I thought I was supposed to be the logical one here.
Well, you've had a few drinks, mates.
I will tell you.
All right, I'll turn back to the kid. Drunken Jaylyn has already forgotten his name. All right, so you want to do this now, or you want to do this in the morning?
Oh.
Neither of those? Yeah.
This evening, maybe, perhaps.
What time is it now?
Currently, currently no. So it was afternoon. A few hours have passed, and it's not quite sunset, but it is about like late afternoon, very late afternoon, going into the evenings. I mean, I have to sneak out.
We've been day drinking.
It's not hard to sneak out of my place. I mean, not with the state of my father, but I will tell you. Under cover of night is probably best.
Okay.
The walls of the city are safe thanks to the wardens, but out there's always a brigand or two that are trying to shake me down, and unfortunately they've taken a few of my coins from here and there, and as soon as you pay them it's fine, but under cover of night is best, I think. And me, myself, I'm not... It's a ghost, but I do pride myself in my hunting skills. I'm okay with a bow, if that's of any use, at least.
Yeah. See if you can find a bow line around, mate.
Oh no, I have one.
Oh, you have one?
At home, yes. It hangs above my mantle, and
good for you.
Yeah,
You should take it out and see if it works.
I've tried a couple of times. I practice. Well, I try to practice regularly.
Yeah,
But
practice is good.
I often go to the Chetwood. The Chetwood is actually like a small forest that's like on the other side of like Bree Hill. I go there and I shoot rabbits every now and then, and I've bagged a couple. But I will say my aim is pretty good.
No,
But against
I'll
ghosts,
take pretty good. I
he
mean,
gathers himself up. He's just like,
what else are you gonna do? I'm not a witch.
no, of course not. Just courage in numbers, I think, right? And you're strong, both of you.
That's it.
I've seen.
That's it. Yeah, I'm strongish.
He smiles a little bit. I know.
Not physically strong. I can make people think I'm physically strong, but it's not the same thing as being actual physically strong.
But I've seen
Alright.
I've seen you train with a sword. You're really good. Oh.
Yeah. You should try telling Todd that. I think he'd really appreciate that feedback of mine, actually.
Ooh, Tad? Oh.
Yeah, Tad. Didn't you hear? He's the greatest fighter in the whole world.
Wait, really? And he's like taking you completely seriously, like, wait. No.
Yeah.
That can't be. He's bottom of the class.
Well aimed rock. Never underestimate a well aimed rock, mate. That's your tip for the day.
Well aimed rock. And actually, Lachlan, he says, he chimes in, he's like, I know a thing or two. I've gone down to the brandy line every now and then, and I'm pretty good at throwing those stones, I'm telling you.
I mean, I gave it a go, but I'm no good. Yeah,
No,
we have to all take lessons from Tad.
That's Tad.
Oh, wouldn't he just love that, Larry?
But between us, he laughs at that comment. Between us, I'm not the greatest fan of him or his family. He's never treated me... Well, he hasn't treated me like anything, actually. Almost like I don't exist.
Don't worry. I'll give you this bit of advice, young lad. The absolute most important person to Tad is Tad. If you ever find a person that looks at you the way that Tad looks at Tad, like, that man worships Tad. He idolizes that man, alright? And if you get yourself a person that looks at yourself the way that Tad looks at Tad, you either keep that person in your life forever and you marry them, or you run straight in the other direction because he's so obsessed with you. You got that, mate? Good.
I get the feeling that you don't like Tad either.
What's not to like about Tad? I mean, he's the greatest swordsman ever.
He's very confused at this moment. It's like he doesn't know if it's like the drunken stupor that, or like it's like you're a fan of Tad, or like you really don't like Tad. He's just like.
Jaylyn has a lot of feelings about Tad.
Well, I'm asking you. I trust you more than him. He might be strong, I guess, but I'm asking
No. You don't want to go to Tad, mate.
I
was fooling. I was messing around. I was messing with you.
He kind of laughs to himself a little bit. He nervously he begins backing away and looking, and there's a few eyes kind of are lingering towards the table.
You know what? Let's meet up in a few hours, say 3 or 4 hours, whenever the sun's like at sunset. Well, we'll meet back up at sunset. We'll give us a few hours to get this booze out of our system. Then
I could bring you some bread if that helps. Maybe soak up some of the alcohol.
Just bread. I've never tried to get sober on purpose. Normally, I drink more alcohol to get more drunk. So what's the opposite of drinking more alcohol? Stop drinking alcohol. That's step 1. We've done that.
Yes, I have your cups. I have your cups, see?
Yep.
Yes. I won't bring you more, I promise. Even if you ask to pay for it, it's okay. It's no more. Because you need to be in your right mind tonight.
We're
treasure hunters. Well, no. Not cut off. Think about it this way. It's more like, if you're all jumpy, I'll be jumpy. And, it won't work, I think. I'm already kind of afraid.
Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, alright then. Where are we meeting? Where would you like to start us off?
So actually, my home, I live in the old town. Kind of closer to the west side of the mountain, and there's actually a place that I go to sneak out every now and then. A hole in the palisade.
Ow.
From there, we can go. I think we should all fit. But if we do go, we must be quiet as far as being around the gates. And once we're past the gates, we should be free sailing. And not far down into the South Downs, we will, I'll lead you there. You can tell he's kind of getting a little bit excited. How about we meet, oh boy, the old statue on the east side of town, or west side of town, sorry. Oh my gosh, I was just so excited, so nervous. West side of town.
West side of town. Yeah, yes. That's the way the sun sets, isn't it?
Yes.
Sun sets on the west usually, right?
And if you meet there, there's an old statue that's there. It's a strong man, a man on a pedestal, and he has.
Is it Tad? I'm not coming if there's a statue of Tad.
I don't think so. This looks way older than Tad.
Okay.
Yes.
That's fine then.
No, he actually has a helmet, and the helmet itself has a wrap around it with a feather pointing out. It is the feather hat that you're looking for.
Okay.
We will meet there 9 p.m. tonight.
Feather with a hat. Got it.
Yes, feather with a hat. And he's like, okay. And he comes back and he brings like a couple like a half a loaf of bread, and he divides it amongst you. Don't worry, it's all in the house.
Okay, you got any butter with that, mate?
And he goes and he runs back and he has kind of like this like small thing of butter, and he doesn't have a plate. He kind of just like throws the butter on the table. He's like,
oh, thanks. You got any honey?
Honey?
No, don't worry about it.
That's actually kept in the butler's secret storage. So it's very valuable. Okay. It comes all the way from Wilderland. I don't know if you're familiar, but.
All right, I should probably pay for it then. I'm gonna.
Oh, you want some honey?
If you got some.
That would be. I think. How much? Small amount for this bread. Let me go. And he runs off to go ask Barnabas how much it would be.
I don't think I have any money on me because I can't find it on my character sheet.
So on your character sheet in your equipment, if you go to your equipment on the very top bar, there's like a little kind of like silver triangle, and it has the amount of like a number next to it. You can click on that and edit your money as you go. You should have like 8, I think, maybe 9 or 8 silver coins.
Yeah. Oh wait, hang on. Inventory. That's where I'm on.
Kind of.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
Let me go ahead and check it really quickly. But
it's not as if it matters.
Yeah, I know you do have enough coin.
Hang on, currency. Here we go. I have 16 silver pieces.
16 silver pieces. So if you want to go ahead
now 15.
Remove 1. That's going to be more than good enough to be able to have that. He brings the honey and everything. You guys enjoy your meals. And he leaves, and the plan is made. And Lachlan, he says, hey, so, Jaylyn, you know I'm not much of a fighter, but I got there is a hunting knife, a belt dagger that my dad uses. Maybe I could nick it off of him for tonight.
That.
I'm telling you, there's something about this drink here. I've gained a little bit of extra courage, I think, for tonight.
Yeah, they put that in there on purpose, so you're not so afraid to drink more, because you forget about the hangover you're gonna have next day. This is really good bread. What do they put in this?
This bread is incredible. Absolutely, so just and you guys just eat and you enjoy the rest of the night. The night does fall, and you make your way over to the west side of town. It definitely the houses grow more and more sparse in this area as the moon begins to rise. You meet up. As far as weapons are concerned, Jaylyn, you actually are going to be using a dagger. You only have your sparring sword at the moment.
Yeah.
And so you're going to say that you're going to be using your belt dagger as well. As you're going out, you still have your shield. Your shield is yours.
Yes.
But you make your way out and into the west side of town. It's definitely not slummy at all, but it's like the roads are like not cobblestone paved anymore. It's dirt. Most of the homes here don't have stone work in them at all, mostly wood, and it's pretty. It's pretty. But in its own kind of rustic way. You see some kind of lights on, some candles in the windows, and it's quiet. It's very quiet. You eventually make your way into kind of like the center of the west end of Old Town, and you do find the statue that he was talking about. And you see a boy dressed in a cloak with a hood over the top of himself. And he sees you approaching, and he says, Jaylyn, Lachlan, is that you?
Nah, mate, we're imposters. I'm just messing with you. Yeah, it's us.
Yeah, he put his hood further over the top and began walking away, and then you um, okay, yes.
Sorry, mate. I'm just messing with you.
No worries.
I'm sorry.
You look to be in ship shape. My dad was a sailor.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know I use a lot of.
That would make sense because I feel like a deck.
Oh.
That was another joke.
Ah.
Yeah. I'm super funny.
Yeah. No, you're really funny. And he says, if you're ready, I'm ready. And you see that he has this hunting bow and like a quiver with about like 8 arrows inside of it. Follow me. And you make your way over to the far palisades, and he moves apart and it's just like kind of loose. Almost at the top, you can tell one of the nails at the top are completely firm in, but one of the looser ones had pretty much completely come apart, and you're able both to barely squeeze through. It's pretty small. So you do so, and you look out into the night of the Breeland. It's beautiful. You hear crickets off in the distance. It is springtime, so it's a little bit chilly. But you kind of gather yourself up and you begin to make your way south. So I'm going to go ahead here and pull up a map, potentially. So you make your way. Oh, there's a lot of people there.
So many people.
We'll do this for now. Good God.
Nice.
And then we'll do this. Oh yeah, I like it. We'll use your marker as the marker. So you start off kind of on the side here.
Yeah, because I am the main character.
You are the main character. So
just in case anyone was not clear on that before.
And you make your way out of Bree, and you have this main character aura about you. And you stealthily make your way south. And you notice as you go further and further, the grasslands start to rise into the hills. You yourself have been here once, maybe twice in your life, but after about 30 minutes more of travel, you have gotten to the point where you're further than you've gone, at least this far south. You find your way just into the hills here. And and it gets eerie and it gets very foggy. You can see that why am I blanking on his name too? It's another T, I think. Thomas. 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 I'm gonna have you make your way into the hills. Make a perception check for me.
Okay, hang on. I'm just gonna write down Thomas's name before I forget again. Thomas. There you go. What do you want? Perception?
Perception for me.
Hey, I'm pretty good at perception. Oh, not today. I'm not. I get a 6.
A 6.
Had to be a 6.
You look around, and it's very, very. It's becoming dense and it's becoming thick, and you're finding it hard to actually direction yourself. However, you do see that Thomas, he is sticking very close to his map, and the two of you follow him as you go deeper and deeper into the downs. You make your way probably about another 30-ish minutes, and you're immediately greeted by what look to be the kind of a few buildings. There are no lights in them. They're made of completely stone and very beautifully crafted, but you can tell they're old and they're ancient. Thomas, he says, right there. He points up to the one of the two buildings. That's where my uncle used to live. When he was here, the fog wasn't quite so dense. But
okay.
I think now is a good time. And he goes ahead and he pulls out a lantern, and he begins to light it. I think we're far enough from Bree. We won't be spotted. And he lights it. And at first, the lantern light kind of reflects off of the fog. But then you immediately see the fog begins to dissipate in every direction. It's very weird, very strange. This is not how normal fog reacts. This is a trick that my uncle taught me back when I was a kid. And well, this way. Enough reflecting. And you make your way a little bit deeper. There's a what looks to be kind of random hills, and these are called barrows. Each of these barrows are hills that either have some graves behind, and he begins to talk to you a little bit about this. And Lachlan's like, "Oh yeah, I've heard quite a bit about the downs here. Each of these barrows, they say that they hold the bodies of ancient warriors, per se." And Thomas, he agrees. "'Tis true, 'tis true. But just over here," and he points. He's like, "That over there is where my grandma is buried, and over there." And he keeps pointing out like all these like relatives, and then he says, "And over there," and he points up to a tall hill. There's a giant hill that has this enormous tree. The tree itself, you can tell, still hasn't woken up from the winter, so there's no leaves on it or anything at all. And up there, that is actually said to be the grave of one of the queens of Arnor. Make a lore check for me.
Okay. Okay, well. Oh, I got a 13.
13.
Lucky number.
You know Arnor. You learned about it in your history. Essentially, the kingdom of Arnor is what existed here before the Breland. And actually, as your father had mentioned, your family specifically descends from the royalty of Arnor. You don't know if you believe that to be true or not. Oh, that was nice. You don't know if you believe that to be true or not. But it's just kind of a rumor. The people of Bree descend from Arnor, but your father claims that you are like the rightful heirs of the Breland. So that kind of tucked away in your mind. He says, "Right there."
Interesting.
That is said to be one of the tombs of one of the queens of Arnor. And up there on the hill, beneath the tree, that is where the treasure's buried. He kind of whispers to you.
Interesting.
I have not made it much further past this point. I always start to hear the voice.
What do they say?
Make a perception check.
Okay. Ooh, that's pretty good. It's 22.
22. I would say that's more than pretty good.
I mean,
you listen for a hot
good.
sec, and you don't hear anything except for the wind. You pay even closer attention though, almost to the point where the wind itself begins to speak ancient words to you. You can't understand them. Definitely something that you have never heard before, but immediately it becomes evident. You shouldn't be. Go now, or he'll find you.
All right. Hey, listen, mate. I just gotta ask why you don't think we should be here. Because like, if this is like your queen's grave or not, I get that. We're not here for that. This is, his uncle's land or was. So he's sort of like, he's got a claim to this land. Like, it's not all about you ghosts, and like.
Lachlan, at the hint of ghosts, Lachlan goes, "What are you going on about, Jaylyn?"
Hey, I'm just trying to reason with him.
With
like,
what? I don't hear anything.
With reason. Oh,
what are you trying
wait,
to
you can't
reason
hear it?
with?
You can't hear it, mate.
He listens really closely. No.
Oh.
You look to Thomas.
I'm definitely sober, right?
He pinches you. You very readily feel it. No delay in reaction at all.
Feels pretty
Is it
sober.
me? And he begins slapping himself. Jaylyn, what are you hearing? And
can I listen again to see if they say anything else?
You can. Yeah. You continue to listen, and you hear, oh, please, I beg you. And at this point, you can see Thomas. He's frozen.
Okay. What are you trying to warn us from?
Can you understand her?
What?
Thomas says this to you with his lantern.
Yeah, mate. I can. What does it say? It's a bit hard to make out, though. Hang on, shh. Everyone be quiet. Try to ask her a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. What are you trying to warn us from?
And immediately, both of you can. Well, I guess both of you over the wind, and you have made your way up to a barrel, and you can see that there is what looks to be an entrance underneath the barrel. There is a boulder that is there that looks like it has been rolled aside. There's vegetation growing on this boulder, meaning that it is a boulder that has been moved long ago. You have no idea what's in this cave, but it is the same barrow that the tree is on top of.
Did the queen, have a protector or someone?
Make a...
a knight.
Make a lore check.
In shining armor. A lore check? Yeah. Dang it. It's only a 9.
You can assume that there is some kind of protection that the queen did have. However, you did know that the fall of Arnor was made by an evil magician, and so this magician is someone who pretty much wiped out all of the line of the people of Arnor, and that's kind of what you're thinking. But at the same time, it's just like, I learned this in class. I have no idea if this actually makes connections, but yes.
Okay.
You approach, and as you do so, I'm gonna have you make a survival check for me.
Yeah, I'd warn Lachlan and Thomas about. Everything.
So Lachlan, he kind of pulls out his belt dagger. And Thomas, he begins to knock an arrow as you guys go. Actually, he's not knocking an arrow. He has his lantern. So he has it, and you guys are creeping forward, and light has cast over. He says, "This is the farthest I've ever gone." And he begins to Thomas starts to hyperventilate a little bit.
Hey! I catch him immediately and just be hands on my shoulders, trying to ground him a little bit. Hey. You good, man?
Make a persuasion check.
What? Okay. I got a 17 for the survival, by the way.
Oh, great. Awesome. So you approach, and the light that is cascading out of the lantern goes through, and kind of through these vines that are going deep below, there is a mysterious blue light, very faint, emitting from within.
Okay.
As you walk, you notice that the ground that's completely around is completely wild. It looks like nothing has trodden on it for years. Your footprints that are along this path are the first ones that have gone in a minimum of 5 years. It's very weird.
Gotcha. Okay. I got a 20 total for persuasion. Okay. Just be like, hey, breathe with me.
And he lets out, and it's very shaky and rattly, but your actual presence has done some kind of inspiration to him. And what are you going to do in this? So you see this, your companions are there with you, what is your next course of action?
Yeah. There's a light up there.
I think I see it too. Lachlan, he looks in. It's a weird sort of light, isn't it?
Yeah. A little bit. Especially since we're the first ones to come here in a long time. How to go about this? I don't know about you lot, but I'm really not too keen of disturbing any ghosts, so I say we go in, like, a little bit quietly.
Do we go in? We're on top. He said he was buried beneath the tree.
Tomo,
do you think he was buried that far down?
I don't quite know what's going on here, but exactly how necessary is that lantern?
Keeps the fog away.
Keeps the fog away. And also, I can't see for nuts in the dark, so I'd say it's pretty necessary. Alright, okay.
What should we do?
Well, I say we go in with the mentality that we come in peace, right? But we're not prepared. But we are prepared to defend ourselves if we're provoked.
Do we just ask the ghost for treasure?
I mean, what's the ghost gonna do with it? Be honest.
He shakes his head. He shakes his head, and actually, your words do speak reason and comfort to him.
Yeah,
Lachlan is just like,
ghost can't spend it. You might as well give it to someone who can.
Lachlan is still in doubt of the existence of ghosts. He still has yet to hear anything or whatnot. Just sees basically Thomas like being terrified, and then you just soldiering
just
up and just
fog.
being well, you might as well just go in, don't you think?
Do you want to go in first, mate? That sounds like a volunteer to me.
I guess. Get my back, please. And he reaches out his hand to touch to feel if you're there behind him as he has his knife in front of him, and he slowly makes his way forward. I'm gonna have you make a stealth check for me.
Okay. Can I unequip my shield?
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine.
Yeah. I'll just uncheck that.
I like the chat. Hopefully you are prepared to die as well.
Here's my backup character. Her name's Jaylyn. She's a twin sister of Jaylyn.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Continue. So you're making your way forward. What's your stealth check?
It is an 18. I can't see the Twitch chat, so
yeah, no worries.
Beautiful watches. It's easy to ignore when I can't see it.
Yes, and I'm usually pretty good at ignoring it too. I just noted that.
I'll have to rewatch the stream later and see what everyone's been saying about my roleplay.
But you creep closer and it kind of duck beneath the vines. The blue light does glow, and it seems to rest over a hole in the ground. This hole doesn't look like a singular round hole, but it looks to be long and horizontal, or long and rectangular. And you can see a little bit off behind, there's a pile of dirt. And there is an old rusted shovel inside the pile of dirt.
Damn.
You successfully sneak in without any cause, but you still continuously hear in your ear, the voice itself is interesting. It does not sound violent per se. It doesn't sound aggressive. It definitely sounds like a warning. And it sounds like there's a hint of fear in it too.
Okay. Is there nothing you can do to hold him back or nothing?
And and immediately you see a head begin to peer out of this hole. It is a ghostly figure, and hair begins to flow, almost as if like it's floating in waves. It is very clearly the ghost of a woman, completely in all white gown, and it's like kind of like floating, and her face looks tormented. It doesn't look hideous, but it looks like she's in a great amount of pain.
Okay.
Please. She puts her hands to her ears and she shrieks, just go! And she begins just like shrieking. And the area itself begins to shake. You see underneath it, just kind of generally, just based off of your perception that you see, there is the roots of this tree have gone down and still goes further right next to this hole. And it's completely blank in the back. I'm going to have you quickly make an investigation check for me.
Okay. Gotta do investigation before I get killed by the ghost. Oh, that's not good. Can I have one of the NPCs help me for advantage?
Absolutely.
Yay!
Both of them are very much believers there, so I'm going to go ahead and give you advantage on that.
Yes! First one was an 8, but the other one was a natural 20 for a 21.
Sweet. You look. You do not see anything what appears to be treasure or chests or anything, as it were. However, you do see up, basically along kind of this inside roots of this tree trunk that continues down into the barrow. You do see up on kind of like the wall, there seems to be a small flicker that's reflecting off the wall.
Okay.
Like almost like kind of like firelight, not the same blue light, almost like a firelight, like a flicker.
All right. Who's the tallest person here?
Definitely Lachlan. I
Okay.
mean, you guys are all pretty short, being from Breland, but
yeah, like I'm only
Lachlan's
5 foot.
yeah, and Lachlan's like 5'1", 5'2", maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Lachlan's probably more physically stronger than me, eh?
Okay. Yeah. Actually, what is your stat?
It's like 0. I don't have.
So it's a 0 modifier though.
Yeah, it's a 0 modifier.
Lachlan,
I got a 10, so it's flat.
Lachlan has a 10 too.
Yeah, so we're the same.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll offer to like give him a boost then to see if we can find what the flickering is.
You're gonna have to convince him to do so. They're both terrified. And actually with this, I'm going to have you make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Oh no, saving throws are in a different section. There we go. Is a 4.
A 4.
Yeah.
You are terrified. You're booking
I'm
it
pretty
out.
terrified, yeah.
Everybody is terrified. And you guys start making your way out. And the figure doesn't just stay, it follows you out. And all of a sudden, it seems to grow in size as it follows you out of this downs.
Damn.
And it grows and it grows. And the face that was tormented immediately almost goes like wipes as if blank, and then it reappears as if like with like a sinister grin on it and says, "It's too late. He's here." And she just like shrieks. With that, you're going to gain 1 point of shadow. So go ahead and write that on your notes separately.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm gonna have you roll for initiative.
Okay. So I'll just go in the notes section of my sheet.
Perfect.
Cool. Save. Alright, initiative. That's not bad. It's 14.
14, alright. What is your dexterity?
My dexterity is a +1, 13.
13. Alright. You're actually...
Hey, do I have max hit points? 'Cause I
yeah,
never
you basically
rolled.
rested up. Yeah, you're because technically Bree is a sanctuary to you, and so you're able to heal up in your sanctuary. So.
Oh yeah, easy.
Yep, you have max hit points and everything. And you go ahead and you get to act first. You've made your way outside into this area, and you have directly to your right Thomas, and then Lachlan over here to your left. And
yeah. Big ghosty.
Yeah, she's grown. Like, she started off of your size and she's grown, and she is looking at you. Now, you shall rest with me together. And she begins to swoop down towards you. What are you going to do?
She does look like she's attacking me.
Or just generally your group. She hasn't, like, moved. She's coming out of the cave, but, like, yeah, she's coming for you all.
Okay. I kind of want to just, like, yell at her, like, brandishing my knife in a defensive position. I think it's an action to equip shield, isn't it? Yeah, so I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and equip my shield.
Okay.
And then just like sort of yell out, "Is what my father says about you true?"
Go ahead and make a persuasion check for me.
Yeah, cause I'm curious, man. Persuasion. Come on. And that's not bad. 17.
17. I don't know your father, nor do I know you. All I know is the land of the living shall be no more. He's here. He's here. The one that leads the shadow. And she grows. And immediately as this happened, you hear and you see far from the side. So over here, you have Thomas. He's still holding his lantern, like shaking. But you see another light coming. And sprinting in this direction. For the Breland! Lachlan, or not Lachlan, what's his face? Tad has followed you. Tad has followed you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he has followed you all the way through. I don't know where his character is, but he's here somewhere. Poor Tad. He's followed you. And he's come in through here. I'll just go ahead and use Theodric for now. And he's holding his club in hand and says, "You see, I knew you were up to trouble. You just wait until I tell the warden what is going to happen. Oh, I'm telling you, they'll never let you into the academy." And he looks over and is just like, fear immediately emanates from his face, and he's just like holding his torch and his club. And he's just like, "Jaylyn, what did you do?"
Oh boy. Oh man. He's like in reply, "Hey, this is all the ghost's idea."
He just charges at it with his club. And he swings furiously. And as he swings, like it just, as if mist, like the ghost dissipates a little bit, and he's just like, for whatever reason, well, you don't know if it's fear or if it's courage that's driving this guy, but he is just whacking away at it, and it's just like it just doesn't seem to be doing anything, and she has not taken her gaze off of you, and the three of you. Tell me, what do you know of the shadow? And she begins to make her way, and as she does so, she completely encompasses Tad, and he begins to get woozy, and he immediately falls unconscious to the ground. What are you doing in this moment?
I mean, is it my turn? Do I like get an action?
You can like say things basically. So you have have like Thomas and you have Lachlan next to you. What are you going to do? I mean, you can command them to do something. You can attempt to like make some kind of like inspiration to like stand up to fight. However you want to do this.
I kind of want to reply to the ghost, but I don't know anything about a shadow.
I will have you, if you want to do that, make a shadow lore check.
Oh yeah, heck yeah, I'll do that.
Do that. Make a shadow lore check for me. That is another one of the new skills. We're using all the new skills.
Yeah. Okay, that one's pretty good. That's a 16.
16. Yeah, you immediately begin to kind of have a little bit of recollection. You get flashes in your brain, flashes in your mind of a dark figure cloaked completely in black, and he has a mask on his face going up into horns. Basically a crown of horns are upon his brow before she's immediately in your face.
Okay.
And she is going to attempt to do a grieve attack. So I'm going to have you, all three of you actually, I'm going to roll for the two of them, make wisdom saving throws for me.
Okay.
Alright, so Thomas got a 4. You got a what?
I got a 7.
7, and then Lachlan ended up getting a 12. But all of you end up taking 3 points of damage, and you each gain 1 point of additional shadow. So 3 points of basically psychic damage. And each of you gain 2 points of shadow, and all of a sudden you can see that Thomas is just like, he drops his lantern, and it begins to ignite the grass that's around. And he he fires an arrow up into it, and so he's going to go ahead and attempt an attack at it, to which he rolls, really good, a 19, and he shoots and just right through the forehead of this creature. It did not seem to have any effect.
Okay.
And fire is now beginning to spread kind of in this area around.
Alright.
Lachlan, he is going to basically hold his knife, and he, by gaining a point there of, he is now frightened, and he's not going to willingly move closer. He's not going to abandon you either, but he's going to hold his ground.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the top of the combat round, which means you, Jaylyn.
Cool. Alright. Shadow, what do you mean shadow? You mean the guy with the who wears the crown of thorns?
And then all of a sudden you hear almost not her voice. You hear kind of this raspy, like deep voice. I see you. And you are. It's your turn, so up to you.
Oh my goodness. Can I look around for the source of the other voice?
You absolutely can attempt to do so, but I'm gonna have to make you do the disengage action in order to do so, because she's currently right up in your face. So first, if you disengage, I will allow you to do that.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna disengage. I'm just gonna retreat over to this area. I don't think it's too fiery yet.
No, not too bad. It's burning here. A lot of this is like a stone, so it's probably not going to cross over into this area.
Yeah.
The one thing that you'll notice is the flames are starting to get closer to Tad with each moment that passes.
Okay, well, Tad's a big boy. He can look after himself, and like,
he's an unconscious big boy.
I will not be able to live with myself if I get rescued by Tad, of all people.
Don't worry, I don't think he's rescued you. He's very unconscious.
No, he's oh man, Tad's a disaster. Okay, can I just move a little bit closer? Like, I don't want to abandon my friends completely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like over here would be fine.
I'm gonna have you make a charisma saving throw, actually.
Yeah.
As you do so.
Alright, charisma. I'm okay at those. Famous last words. Oh, that's okay. It's a 16.
16. As you do
average.
so, both of them snap out of their fear and begin to kind of jump into action, seeing that you are relatively holding your ground. They're gonna go ahead and do the same, at least for the turn. Go ahead.
Like, this ghost is not the one I'm scared of.
Go ahead and make a perception check as you attempt to find the other voice.
Come on, that 20. Okay, it's not that 20, but it is a 22.
22. This voice seems to not be coming from the ghost, but it seems to be coming from within your brain, your own mind.
Okay. To the ghost, I will say, what is that? It's in my head. Get it out!
Yeah, you do so, and I'm going to have you make another wisdom saving throw for me.
Okay. That's a 7.
7.
Of course it's a 7. Of course it's...
You're going to take another 2 points of psychic damage. And she looks at you. It's too late for all of us. And immediately, the fire begins to lick up around her. And what's your passive perception, actually?
Passive perception. That would be a 13.
A 13. You notice movement off to the right, in the flames. This movement itself seems to be a cloaked figure as he comes running through. Back behind, he grabs Tad, pulls him back, and he begins speaking what sounds to be Elvish. You can only assume, you can only guess. It's a completely foreign voice.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to do.
We don't know Elvish.
The flame itself has begun to... So you notice that. He hasn't made any kind of move or anything except to pull Tad out kind of to the side.
Yeah.
And you could tell, though, he is brandishing what looks to be a long sword. In the flames, he's very daunting. He's much taller than you, probably about an entire foot, maybe foot and a half taller than you. The flames begin to lick off his sword as he stands ready for any kind of combat. It is now going to be Thomas's turn, and he is going to back up a couple steps. And with the flames beginning to lick, he's going to go ahead and unleash another arrow to where he gets a 14, which hits, and the arrow itself goes right through her. However, as the arrow's moving, the feathers and the fletching begin to catch fire, and it seemed to spread into her cloak just slightly. And it begins to almost burn her ghostly apparition away. Just for the fletching, she goes ahead and she takes 4 points of flame damage. The next is going to be Lachlan. So Lachlan, he is going to make his way back, and one more time he's going to go ahead and pick up a stone, and he's going to throw it. One interesting thing about Lachlan is he actually has a special skill called a Stone Chaser. So he can basically find a stone anywhere, and he gets a +1 to hit with stones. And so he knows all about this. He's actually pretty good. And he takes it and he chucks it, to which he is going to go ahead and he's going to roll. He rolls a 10, and he throws it, and it just right through. I mean, it hits her square in the chest and just right through, and he's just like... And he goes ahead and he holds his dagger a little bit more. It is now your turn.
Well, if there's one thing I'm not gonna do, it's gonna be throwing stones around Tad. Okay, I refuse to do that. Okay, so voice in my head, she says I can't get rid of it. She's being very annoying, she's taking a lot of fire damage. I don't have anything.
I will say, in your inventory, do you have torches on you, perhaps?
I probably do, actually. Hang on. I have a flask of lantern oil.
You
That'll
also have
do
fire.
the trick, I think.
Yeah, you do have a flask of lantern oil. That's absolutely true.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll use that. I will attempt to create a makeshift bomb.
All right. So you do so. You pull it out and you kind of uncork it. You find what looks to be like you tear like a piece of cloth off of and you put it in there, kind of like a Molotov cocktail a little bit.
Yeah.
You begin to soak it and you chuck it. I'm gonna actually have you make just a straight dexterity roll to see what's gonna happen.
Okay. Straight dexterity. I want to get disadvantage from the shield for this, would I?
No. You're basically throwing. It's not like a sneak check or anything like that. So.
Okay. Dexterity it is. Boop. Blech, that's not good. That's a 3.
A 3. You begin to throw it, and it goes in the fire. It does not ignite immediately like you want it to. However, I will say this. In 1d4 turns, it will ignite. Basically meaning that the flame will eventually get inside the flask. And so I'm going to go ahead and roll this d4. One turn. Next turn, it's going to light and explode.
I will take that. She's already said she can't help us with the voice in our heads. There's an elvish man speaking elvish. I'll just yell out to the crew, try and get her in the flames. She doesn't seem to like the fire.
And as you mentioned that, this man stands up. He looks like he pours something onto his blade and he sticks it in the fire, and his blade goes up in flames, and he runs and takes it and cuts right through this ghost. He is going to roll a 16, which he is going to hit, and with his longsword, he is going to inflict 8 points of slashing damage, and additionally 4 points of flame damage as she begins to visibly burn. Just starts shrieking, "This world will burn!" as she begins to just like go up in a blaze of light, and immediately she begins to flicker out. And she is gone. She is dissipated. You are all panting. There's the flame that is roaring, and not much time later happens, and a small flame goes up from your lantern oil that explodes here. And Tad, still unconscious to the side, you have your two companions back, looking stunned and terrified, and you see what looks to be a man standing there, his sword on fire. He rubs it in, like, basically the dirt, and it basically gets completely off. He lifts his hood and reveals his face. It is a young man, probably no more than 5 or 6 years older than you. And his face, he has, like, dark, very fair features, but he is not an elf. He is a man. And he looks to you and says, "Now tell me, young one, why do you face such darkness? Why do you go seeking the shadow?"
I'm just gonna ignore that for a second. I'll turn to Thomas and go, get your stuff, mate. Lucky, go with him.
Right. And he goes, and he actually was carrying a shovel with him the whole time. And so you go up, and they make their way up to the top. I mean, he was like in his pack, like on his back, and you go.
Yeah.
And they start building.
Then I'm gonna go right up to this man, just stand beside him.
He towers you, by the way.
Yeah, I'd like to say I look him in the eye, but like I know he's looking down at me, but I still look like eye contact and just go, "Look, mate, here's the shape of it. I want to stand on my own 2 feet, and I can't do that here. I wasn't seeking out any shadows. I was only hoping to help a friend and perhaps find a way out of here."
He looks to you and he sighs. "You have great courage in you. The wilderness here, the South Downs, and worse yet, the Barrow Downs just to the west. There's been an evil stirring here for years. And not yet have I seen it manifest itself in such a way." He looks to you. "My name is Halbarad, son of the captain of the Rangers of the North. My goal, my duty, is to protect these lands, to protect your people from the shadow. The shadow once existed, centuries ago. A great evil laid upon this land. And the realms of men and elves rose up to destroy this evil. And in the process, we were destroyed. We were broken. We were severed. But we were not defeated. We sought the end to this evil. An ancient evil. An evil that corrupts. It is the shadow which we seek to destroy. And this is just the beginning, young one. You said you were out here to help your friends. For what purpose?
Thomas's dad is not... I don't know. He's been a bit off. Can't say no to a drink. My dad is terrible for different reasons, I suppose you'd say. And Lockie, he wants to be more than he is. And this town won't let him. Tomo's uncle buried some treasure here. We were looking for that. He warned us about a ghost, but I know whatever I thought we'd find here was definitely wasn't that. Like,
I can understand you seeking adventure. Do know the reason for the lifestyle that those in Bree have is because of the work of the Rangers of the North. We protect your borders, we protect your lands. And I simply came here to do my duty. I saw you this afternoon in the Prancing Pony. Overheard a little of what you were saying. And good thing too. Although, I will say, I am very impressed with how you stood up to such evil. But do know that every encounter with the shadow, it leaves lingering despair, torment. It's not something that you will easily forget. But you do know, more than most in Bree, actually I would say more than anybody in Bree, now know what Middle-earth faces: a growing darkness. Where one calamity is overcome, another one rises. And my duty is for the people here. I ask you, Jaylyn, what is your duty?
I'd like to say I have a duty to myself, but that just seems a bit selfish at this point, doesn't it?
Everybody has their priorities. And, especially while we're young, part of growing up is learning about ourselves, learning to love ourselves, learning our purpose. Many young are lost. But as long as there's a road yet to travel, you'll be sure to find who you are in time. Through the good experiences and especially through the bad, you'll come to know exactly who you are deep down.
Then I would say that my duty is to the young who don't know who they are yet. I want to help. I want to be a part of a world where they can explore that without fear.
Middle-earth is a world with a history tainted in fear. This great shadow is exactly that which we all must face. And you seeing it firsthand, know that something must be done. Jaylyn, I know your father. I know the kind of things he deals in. I know what he has hold of. And in him, too, there is a shadow. One thing I'm most impressed about is that you've been able to keep yourself away from overcoming such a thing. I don't believe the shadow. I've been investigating your father for a while. I don't believe the shadow directly emanates from him. He is a fellow free person here of Middle-earth. It's something he carries that's dark, that's evil. Not to say your father is evil, but every man has their limit.
I mean, he's not evil, but he's pretty evil if you get my drift. Just in my opinion.
And Jaylyn, yet you've turned out the way you are here today. A strong, charismatic individual who is capable of leading others. That's capable of protecting others. Growing up in such circumstances can't be easy. Tell me, Jaylyn, what do you wish to do about this shadow? The shadow in your father, the shadow you witnessed here.
I think this particular shadow could use a bit of daylight.
Indeed. We all strive to seek the light.
I don't know if that analogy is perfect, though, because... Sorry.
No, absolutely. Even in light, there is a shadow. There are dark places, dark recesses, where shadow can hide. But the real question is, and what it really boils down to, is are we going to be the ones to cling to those shadows when the light so desperately seeks us? Or do we step out and embrace what is good and what is just in this world?
Did you have something in particular in mind?
As I had mentioned, the shadow here is an ancient evil, but it is the sign of something greater to come. The Dunedain here we serve to protect the people of Bree, the people of the Shire. And I must do my duty to be able to do so. But there are those who are wise, that may be able to, if only temporarily, send back the shadows from where they came. There's a gentleman called the Grey Pilgrim. At least that's what we refer to him here in Erabor. And there is a land far to the east, a kingdom of men. Rumor has it, a dragon has been slain. A great dragon, by this very king, King Bod himself. 5 years ago, a great battle took place after the slaying of this dragon. Come November, there's a celebration. The celebration of the 5 armies. If you, and maybe your brave friends here.
I'm not taking Tad.
No, I'm taking...
That's off the table.
I'm taking him back with me. Don't you worry.
Don't let him claim that he saved you, alright? Because he will try to do that. He's done that multiple times to me before. Don't let him.
Sometimes you just gotta let the boastful be boastful. What matters is what you do with yourself.
You know what? I'm sure that's a really great piece of advice and profound wisdom, but I'll be honest, I can't stand this man. I need to give him 2 medals, right? One for being an idiot, and the other one in case he loses the first one.
But he did come, didn't he?
Yeah, because he wants to be a hero, and he wants to prove he's the greatest warrior in all of Breland. Well, which he is, apparently. He's better than me.
Being a hero means something different to each person individually. It seems that your young friend, while he may have great aspirations, he doesn't quite have the wisdom to be able to understand the dark things of this world. There are those who aren't capable of such difficult tasks that I ask of you. Jaylyn, I'm telling you, you're capable of great things. I know it. I've seen you train. I've seen you experience so much darkness in your life, whether you know it or not. It's incredible to see. I mean, here I am saying someone's so young, but someone's so young. Overcome such sorrow. And he kind of looks down. And he looks to his belt. If you do wish so to undertake this task, I have a couple companions, the 2 dwarves. They will lead you as far as the Golden Valley of Imladris. And from there, they can guide you all the way to the Breland. Not to the Breland, all the way to Dale. Seek out the Grey Pilgrim, but the decision is yours.
Hang on. Jaylyn will just, get a piece of paper from her bag and just say, did you say Grey Pilgrim or Great Pilgrim?
Grey, and he spells out Grey.
Okay, thank you. I'll do that. Thank you.
And here, he pulls out a broadsword and he gives it to you. This belonged to Dain, just like myself. A friend to my father, in fact, who met an untimely end. He would be happy to have a brave individual take this in his stead. Rumor has it you're pretty good with a sword.
I thought I was.
Don't doubt yourself.
I have had reason to doubt recently, but I've never been one to give up just because of a speed bump in the road.
And I will tell you this. Perhaps my final words of advice that I could offer. If you find yourself in darkness, if you find yourself alone, if you find yourself not being able to overcome the difficulties on your trail, don't forget to rely on your friends. Don't forget to rely on your companions. And in turn, allow them to rely on you. Don't doubt that inner strength that you have deep within. Just know, fate has a fickle way of leading you and others to their intended purpose and their intended destinations, exactly where they belong to be. And for you, Jaylyn, an opportunity has presented itself. I shall go back to Bree with you. Meet these dwarves in the Prancing Pony, and I will explain everything to the people who need explaining to. Leave at first light. And so he goes ahead and he tells you about the two dwarves that you are to basically accompany. You end up finding the treasure, you find it, you take it all back. And these two dwarves go by the names of Drommer. It's a female dwarf, and she's got this finely braided beard, and she talks about stories of starlight, which is very odd for dwarves. But she constantly has this, premonition that there's something that lies in the stars that is of utmost importance, that he needs to go seek the help of someone great. So she is going to lead you there along with her brother. His name is Grommer. So Drommer and Grommer. And Grommer is a male dwarf, basically constantly drunk. But he's very grouchy and very protective of his sister. However, it proves to be a very good travel companion as well, and very strong with an axe. So he is going to lead you and your group to Imladris in order to figure out how to get to Dale. And that is where we're going to end our session for tonight. Good job.
Beautiful.
Way not to die.
Yay! We did it twice!
It was pretty close, but way not to die. You did a good job. But yes, thank you so much for joining me. It wasn't that close.
Well, thank you.
That's good. That was really fun. It was good. These one-shots have been a joy. So I'm very eager to see how our last one goes, but a lot of preparation, a lot of backstory. If you have anything that you want to talk about your backstory, anything that you need to clarify, talk to me in the Discord. It should be good. And when we actually begin everybody together in the second week of March, I'll do quick kind of overviews about everybody's travels specifically to the destination. So if you want to talk to me about that, we can discuss that a little bit. And I'll let you know everything that you kind of witnessed and experienced.
Easy.
Awesome. For those who are watching, thank you for sticking around for a really fun session. Very heavy on the role play, which is good. A lot of relationships, a lot of just really fun times to be had by all. Get to experience Shadow, get to experience some really good people. I don't know if anyone knows who Halbarad is, but I'm sure you could do a little look into that and figure out who that is. But there's some cool people popping up throughout Middle Earth, so it's really neat. So that's going to be it for this week. Next week we are going to have Feanor. He is an elf from the Woodland Realm, so he's an elf from Mirkwood. And he is going to be joining us as our last party member on March 1st. Leah, is there anything you want to promote as far as like where people can find you or whatnot, or whatnot?
Oh man, I don't have the Tumblr set up yet.
Okay.
I'm Edgy Rogues on the Discord, or I think my nickname is Mayhem at the moment.
Yeah.
You'll find me in chat on Twitch at SpiderFan33.
Great. And from then on, we're going to go ahead and bring our session to a close. It's been a lot of fun adventures, and there's many more to continue. And so for the meantime, may the road go onward and on.